Hey, come see us on tour. We'll be in Chicago, Grand Rapids, Michigan, Duluth, Georgia, right outside of Atlanta, Jacksonville, Florida, Tempe, Arizona, and Burbank, California. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for those tickets. I want to show you this, and I'm going to try and play it all the way through. I probably won't do it, but this is Jake Tapper, and he's interviewing a guy named Reid Hoffman. Now, Reid Hoffman is a huge donor to the Democratic Party. I think he was actually a huge Joe Biden donator, and then he donated to Nikki Haley. I think he was supporting. Can you see Reid Hoffman, Nikki Haley? Can you look?
He backed the woman who sued Trump with the
right.
The one, and he was Kellyanne Conway's husband, wasn't he?
Reid Hoffman?
I swear to God, I thought at one point he was her husband. Like her whole family was destroyed during that administration.
Was Reid Hoffman married to Kellyanne Conway? No way. No, George Conway.
Oh, no. Maybe he worked with Reid Hoffman. They had a divorce, didn't they? And he started contributing to that taking Trump down stuff.
I have this. Billionaire Reid Hoffman pauses Nikki Haley funding after her New Hampshire loss to Trump.
So so Reid Hoffman went from being Joe Biden's huge donor to being Nikki Haley's huge donor. That's who these people are.
Well, he really wants that Lina Khan out of there, huh?
So now he's back. So now watch this. So Jake Tapper is going to interview one of the biggest. So this is your deep state. This is your Reid Hoffman. This is the donor class. He actually tells the politicians what to do. He's one of those guys. And if you get enough of these guys, like maybe 3, they can control a political party. Okay, so let's watch. Jake Tapper's actually going to do journalism here, which might be the headline to this segment. Jake Tapper actually does journalism. Watch this.
Contributing money to Vice President Kamala Harris's presidential campaign, but some are asking, is there a catch? Some of these donors are now.
So he says they're contributing large amounts of money to Kamala Harris's campaign. Some are saying, is there a catch? Yes. The catch is that she's going to do what they want. That's the catch.
Who would say that?
Who would say, is there, some are saying, Kurt, is there a catch? Here we go.
Contributing money to Vice President Kamala Harris's presidential campaign, but some are asking, is there a catch? Some of these donors are now openly suggesting Harris should replace the head of the Federal Trade Commission, progressive darling Lina Khan. Khan is a progressive antitrust icon. She's aggressively been trying to prevent big tech, big oil, and others from forming monopolies, she says, ones that could wipe out smaller businesses.
So that's a good thing. Everybody in America who isn't a billionaire should be excited about this. There's somehow this woman got to a position of power inside our oligarchy where she's actually going to stand up for competition and try to break up monopolies, antitrust legislation, which Barack Obama, by the way, never enforced. So all of a sudden, there's this woman who I've never heard of until I found out they wanted to get rid of her.
How long has she been there?
I don't know. Can you look up how long she's been? What's her name?
Lina Khan.
Linda Khan.
Lina.
Or Lina?
Lina.
It's probably Lina, but it's spelled Lina.
So let's see what they. So now they want to get rid of her. Who wants to get rid of her? The same guy who donated to Joe Biden, then donated to Nikki Haley, and now is donating to Kamala Harris. Now the billionaire class wants to get rid of her, the one person in all of government who may be doing something positive for our country.
It's still a slim chance, by the way.
She became the commissioner of the United States Fed Trade Commission since 2021.
Okay, here we go.
On Monday, media mogul and Democratic donor Barry Diller said he would lobby Kamala Harris to remove Lina Khan.
Barry Diller? He hardly knew her. Come on, am I right? Come on. Diller? I don't even know her. Here we go.
And there is a similar sentiment being expressed by megadonor Reid Hoffman, who donated $10 million to the Biden-Harris campaign and is planning.
So these are the people who actually run things. People like Barry Diller, people like Reid Hoffman. When I talk about the handful of billionaires who actually run things, these are two guys part of it. Okay.
On a major fundraising push for Kamala Harris.
I do think that Lina Khan is a
bad person in government because she's actually standing up to creeps like you? Yes. Here we go.
a person who is not helping America in her job in which she's.
When he says not helping America, did you know that America is a euphemism for billionaires like him?
Like our democracy.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Remember that one billionaire donor is worth a billion of you. Okay.
That's true.
When they call you a young buck, they mean you are worth roughly $1. So just remember that when he says that Lina Khan is not helping America, I keep forgetting that when a billionaire talks about America, they are only talking about themselves. That's what they mean by America. Okay, here we go.
And so I would hope that Vice President Harris would replace her.
So Reid Hoffman joins us now. Reid, thanks for joining us. So you and other big money donors are giving money to Vice President Harris, suggesting also that she replace the head of the FTC, which impacts policy and the economy. What do you say to somebody who watches this and says, this isn't how American politics should work, rich people getting to buy levels of influence?
Well, I totally agree with not buying levels of influence. I separate my roles at donor.
Yeah, that's why that you're the number one donor all the time, every election cycle, because you don't want to buy influence? Okay.
An expert. So if you ask me as a donor, I say I'm giving money to Kamala Harris because I think she's the best future president for the U.S., for business, for a bunch of other things. If you ask me as an expert about what, kind of Lina Khan is doing and whether I think she is helping or hurting America relative to your anti-merger policies, which are, mostly to bring litigation versus, really solidly grounded in kind of what's going on, what helps American business thrive here and overseas, then I give an expert opinion. But I think donor and expert should be kept separate. And I've never tied the two ever in any conversation.
What?
So
I'm asking you as a fat scumbag, sir.
So this guy's literally trying to make the case that when I call up Joe Biden or Kamala Harris, I'm just doing that as an expert. I don't use any of my influence as a donor. Oh, I would never do that. So,
you're the same guy though, right?
But it's the same person, right? You're the same guy who gave her the money, and now you're going to put on a different hat. That's what he's trying to make us believe. Even Jake Tapper's not going to fall for this.
It's pretty egregious. You're telling me, sir, that you as a conscious entity are not a monopoly. You're actually in competition in your own head.
It is yes.
It's a fair competition.
I've ever had.
Right, but I mean, that world doesn't really exist where people say, okay, now I'm talking to Reid Hoffman, the donor, and Reid Hoffman, the guy with political ideas, I'm going to put into the other room. I mean, politicians are human. And, if they know that you and Barry Diller and other big donors are giving a lot of cash and want to get rid of Lina Khan, from the FTC, they might listen to that more than they would listen to it from somebody in a restaurant. So
even Jake Tapper has questions for this Democratic donor. That's how insane what this guy is saying is.
Hey, I'm two different people. I'm five-dimensional.
Yeah, I'm just, when I talk to the politician that I just gave a bribe to, I tell him to forget that and just think of me as an expert. I would never. The
Holy Ghost.
Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Yeah, I would never mix those two. Okay, here we go. So you're getting a look at who really runs the country. And I don't really understand why they're allowing Jake Tapper to do this interview in the way he's doing. This guy must have pissed off somebody at CNN accidentally or something. But here we go. I don't know why he agreed to do this interview. But watch this.
Well, this is one of the things where I don't ever show up at the White House saying, I think you should do this. I mean, one of the things that President Biden has said to me every time he's met me is I never asked for anything because all that I'm trying to do is help our leaders be the best governors. Now,
he's just trying to help.
Wow, he's a busy guy because he wears two different hats, and then he finds the time to help.
And then he's got time to help. Plus, he sits on the board of Microsoft, and he's got so many responsibilities. He would never ask for anything.
Yeah.
If I'm asked as an expert, and for example, shows like this, CNN, say, well, what do you think is the right expert point of view? I would say, well, here's what I think as an expert, and maybe people will listen to me more. Maybe you'll have me on television because I'm a donor. But I definitely myself distinguish between my role as a donor and my role as an expert. And I don't ever, when I'm doing fundraisers or anything else, I never say, I'm only going to do a fundraiser for you since we're doing this fundraiser right now where I'm raising money for you, I want you to hear my opinion on X. Mm-hmm. I respond to questions and expertise on them.
Why would you have to?
Yeah, you don't have to say that. You don't have to say, hey, I'm only going to give you this money. That you just give them the money, and then you go, hey, you know what'd be a good idea?
Yeah, right. Hey, anticipate my needs. Like the Chin Gigante, when he'd order someone killed, he would just give a nod. You know?
Yeah.
He'd never say it.
It's like the mafia. And, it'd be a real shame.
Like if Carlo Gambino, the old man, would just go, just that, and then you have to kill him.
Oh. Here we go. So watch. Even Jake Tapper can't take this bullshit.
So you sit on the board of Microsoft, and that, of course, is a company that has multiple FTC run-ins. Right now, there's an open FTC investigation into whether Microsoft structured one of its deals with your startup, Inflection AI, in order to avoid a government review. That's according to reporting from both CNN and the Wall Street Journal.
So the poor person investigating them and possibly prosecuting them, he wants that person fired, and he's just saying that as an expert.
Oh,
he's an
Burisma
expert, yeah, like Hunter Biden and Burisma, an expert. Even how blatantly corrupt do you have to be for CNN to bust you wide open like a piñata full of bullshit? How?
Well, this is it's such an insult what he's saying. Like even Jake Tapper, that world doesn't exist where you're two different guys, dude.
His name is
crazy. What he's saying.
His name is Reid Hoffman, but it certainly isn't Read the Room Hoffman. I'll tell you that. Am I right? Come on, come on.
Hoffman, I hardly blew him.
So here, even Jake Tapper can't put up with this.
With your startup, Inflection AI, in order to avoid a government review. That's according to reporting from both CNN and the Wall Street Journal. You're donating millions to Harris while publicly stating you hope she replaces the FTC head who is leading that very investigation. Doesn't that create an inherent conflict?
Well, let me talk about as a venture capitalist, because I never talk about these things as a board member. I would say that
he's now even another person. So now he's not an expert or a donor. He's now talking to you not as a board member, but as a what did he just say? What is he talking? Hang on. Now this guy
I never talk about these things as a board member.
So now he's turned into Sybil. This guy's got 5 personalities. Watch this.
Well, let me talk about as a venture capitalist, because
now he's going to talk about this as a venture capitalist. He would never talk about this as a board member. That's still the same guy, right? Mm-hmm. You still are the same mouth, the same voice, the same guy who's as a board member is the same guy saying this shit, right? Yeah, but I'm saying it as a different person. Okay, that's not how it works.
At least Kyle Kalinske had the decency to dye his hair blonde.
That's right.
Talk about these things as a board member. I would say that one of the things that is the theory behind what the FTC does is to say, let's create more competition for large tech companies. But if what you're doing is making acquisitions much more difficult out of the tech industry, because these are small nation companies like Inflection has no revenue, et cetera, it has a little bit now, but didn't before its commercial deal with Microsoft, then you're creating less incentive for investment, less incentive for creating potential competition because you're blocking M&A exits. And so, when I speak to these things, I speak more as a venture capitalist. I never speak as a Microsoft board member. Now, even in the Inflection,
I would never.
What?
I would never.
Is this allowed?
What? So he is being investigated. His Microsoft company is being investigated by the FTC. He wants that lady fired, but he doesn't want her fired as a board member. He wants her fired as a venture capitalist.
I say this as an expert.
I thought that was the same person. You're 2 different people. You're like Superman.
Why not insider trade? No, I'm trading as an outsider. Obviously, as an insider, I didn't make a trade.
This is maybe the most remarkable interview I've seen in quite a while. And the fact that it's happening on CNN makes it that much more remarkable.
Because this guy is letting everyone who still watches CNN know what he thinks of them, which is not much.
Yes.
Okay. And I promise you, people who watch CNN, they're not going to remember the most memorable thing I've seen on CNN in a while.
This is it.
They're going to go, well, Trump is bad.
And what makes it... He's a dictator. He's never going to leave. These are the people who really run the country. These are the people who never leave office. These guys. Trump's going to...
The planes have been fucked up for how long now?
That's right.
Microsoft's freaking IT thing. Because it's a goddamn monopoly that everybody had the same IT program.
That's right.
But I'm saying this not as a guy who's on your show. As a guy who was flying yesterday.
I'm saying this as a jagoff comedian, not a host of a news show.
I'm saying this as a guy who wants to join Al Qaeda because of what this guy did to the planes.
case, it is complicating in a set of things across venture investments that if any time that you're prospectively going to be purchased by one of the large tech companies, it may take, years in review, may have, arbitrarily being challenged or investigated, then it's going to quell investment. And that's bad for creating new competitors.
But there aren't there aren't like 100 Reid Hoffmans. It's not like one of you is a donor and one of you has opinions on Lina Khan and one of you is on the board of Microsoft and one of you is a venture capitalist. You're all the same guy. And I don't think that there's a politician alive that's able to compartmentalize the way you're suggesting they should.
I mean, just imagine what's happening here. Jake Tapper's blowing the roof off of the way politics actually works. And effortlessly expose, and that, so he's doing that look with the eyes.
Well, let me see what else I can tell you, idiot.
That's the same look that the the prosecutor who was the boyfriend of Fannie Willis in.
Yeah.
That's the, remember he went.
52 times. I don't know.
I don't know.
I've ever camped.
I book lots of cabins. That's what that's that look. Look at that look on his face. He's doing, that's when he's getting ready to sling some bullshit. He knows he's caught. He knows he has to think of a lie. And I'm pretty sure.
You can't believe he has to do this, Reid Hoffman.
Yes.
He was sure. And who could blame him? I would have thought Jake Tapper would be a moron enough not to even question the idiotic thing he just said.
Because, Microsoft advertises on CNN. They have to, right? That's where all their... So that's why I can't believe maybe they stopped.
It's not MSNBC. It's CNN, not MSNBC.
Oh, so it's not Microsoft and NBC.
Microsoft NBC ain't gonna ask this.
Okay. So he asked the question, and here he is getting ready. What kind of bullshit can I think of? So I'm not a body language expert, but I'm sure the eyes up and to the left, that means you're getting ready to sling some bullshit. Because here it comes.
Well, but to be clear, for example, I've never had a conversation with Kamala Harris about this, right? This is all like, I made a comment because it was like, what do you think about Kamala Harris for business? And I said, look, I think she's great, rule of law. It's one of the backgrounds. I think was one of the reasons she's better than Trump. But I do have some things where I, just as an expert, I would say that, there would be things that could be improved in a Harris administration and this stuff. And that was as an example.
As an expert, but not as a donor. And not as a board member of Microsoft and not as a veteran, but as an expert. Again, you're the same person. You're not different people.
O.J. Simpson should have used this. Like,
this is what O.J.
As a husband, I would not have killed Nicole, but as her killer, I but I would never mix those.
But I don't talk to her about that. Now, of course, we can have these conversations and you can say, hey, she's not making this distinguished, so let's have this long conversation on CNN about it. And so she might watch our segment, and that's the way she would hear about it, is you talking to me.
Right. You and other donors went after Lina Khan pretty quickly after Biden announced that he was dropping out of the 2024 race. Do you have any concerns that this might hurt the Democratic Party unity that we've seen demonstrations of in the last few days?
Well, I hope not. It is interesting to me that of all of Biden's appointees, J.D. Vance is most enthusiastic about Lina Khan, and maybe that has some, swing voter implications. And maybe also, I've also gotten a bunch of feedback from, a bunch of people I deeply respect within the Democratic ecosystem saying, well, we're much more positive than you. And I'm like, look, I love what she's done on anti-competes with employees. I dislike what she's been doing on, and I think it's bad for investment on kind of antitrust and investment. So, it's again, what I.
Yeah. Breaking up monopolies. It's bad for investment. Yeah. Because monopolies are a good bet.
Dude, I wish that I trusted Trump enough that he was going to take the revenge that they say he's going to take.
Yeah.
Because they should make brand new guillotines for these people. I mean, this guy, what a scumbag.
This guy's saying that, well, if you get rid of monopolies, that's going to be bad for investment because people don't like to invest. They like to invest in sure things, and monopolies are sure things. That's why they're called monopolies.
The IT system failing, and I'm stuck at the airport 2 goddamn weeks in a row, and I don't want to fly ever the hell again.
And it doesn't matter. You got nowhere else to go. Neither of those people, they have to use the Microsoft. So everybody's still happy, right? The people who make the money are still making it.
Yeah, America.
Would I worry that it has a potential negative? Sure. But I try to be a truth teller when I'm asked questions about what I actually think about what's good for America.
I mean, not as
Reid
a
Hoffman,
liar.
thanks so much for your time and for coming on the show and contributing money
as a
to
fat
Vice
liar,
President.
I lie. But as a truth teller, I like to try to
now
tell
he's
the truth.
got another hat. He's now got a 6th personality. He's a truth teller.
Well, MK Ultra is real. I keep telling you.
So here actually somebody made this up before. Ed Marr says, just like mob bosses don't ask for anything, they just observe that it would be a shame if your family disappeared, your campaign funding dried. It would be a shame.
Oh,
it would be
terrible.
Be a shame if your daughter's school bus blew up. It would be a shame.
You think I'm some band leader from? Yeah, I heard that story. And yeah, I heard that story.
Yeah, buffers. We had a lot of buffers.
They should use Godfather for all their campaign stuff.
Yeah.
It was an abortion, Michael.
Okay. So that's how the world really works. That's how politics really work. Guys like that, come on. Show that guy. Oh, wait. Let me show. I can't get it. But guys like that are the people who are pulling the strings. And why he ever decided to do this interview, I think he thought that he could pressure Kamala Harris even more by coming on and saying, yeah, we got to agree. And he thought Jake Tapper was going to roll over like corporate press people do all the time. But for some reason, Jake Tapper didn't. So you know what that also tells me is that Jake Tapper actually knows how to do journalism. He actually knows when people are bullshitting. He actually can see conflicts of interest and contradictions, and he can call them out in real time. He only does it. He doesn't do it because he's being paid not to.
I think he rolled over because really anybody whose brain was working when that guy said it should go, are you joking saying that nonsense to me right now?
No,
as an adult, you think that you go to court and go, Your Honor, I was acting as a guy who doesn't rob banks when I robbed that bank. Jake Tapper was way too polite. What that animal just said to him is so insulting. And, CNN viewers deserve no better. Let's face facts about that.
Let's face facts.
But Tapper rolled over on that 100%. You could see he knows better, obviously. But why is he not? Piers Morgan has more integrity than him.
Well, I think he did it. I'm saying he actually... He was very polite.
I give him a C-. That's what I give him.
I give him a B-.
All right.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying that as a teacher. I'm saying that as an expert.
Yeah, I'm saying that not as a donor to CNN. Hey, guess what? Rumble has their coffee. It's called 1775 Coffee. And, if you buy their coffee, it goes to help support Rumble, which is supporting free speech. That's the important thing. You don't want to get coffee from a giant corporation. Have a cup of coffee filled with Rumble's very own freedom-fighting, best-tasting 1775 coffee. Try Rumble's 1775 coffee on a subscription, and it'll save 40% off your first bag today. Wow. Support freedom of speech and build a parallel economy that actually values you. Go to 1775coffee.com/door. That's DORE. 1775coffee.com/door right now and pick up your first bag. Use the code DORE, that's DORE, to save 40% off your first subscription order. Hey, come see us on tour. We'll be in Chicago, Grand Rapids, Michigan, Duluth, Georgia, right outside of Atlanta, Jacksonville, Florida, Tempe, Arizona, and Burbank, California. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for those tickets.